Hi, everyone. I'm Dan, one of the founders of Cloze. I thought since this was the first session that I would come here to meet you all and give you a little intro to Cloze. For those of you who aren't familiar with Cloze, we're the standard CRM for Sotheby's, Corcoran, Windermere, and a lot of other brands that focus on really where sphere selling is the core of what they do. And this is one of the reasons that we're one of the CRM of choice options. Lofty, Bold Trail, they're great for businesses that are driven off lead gen. And we're good for that too, no doubt. But for sphere selling, there really isn't a comparison to Cloze. And so that you don't have to take my word for it, I'm going to walk you through why that is. So first I wanted to just give a little feel for some interesting research about sphere selling. You all have databases. Might be on your phone, might be contacts, might be app, you might have it in Excel, maybe you have it in a CRM. But one of the really interesting things that the research shows is that 88% of the people that the average agent talks to never makes it into their database. And so these are like people you meet at local events on the sideline of baseball games and hockey games and things like that. And so your sphere isn't just this little piece, it's literally everyone you meet in your community. And this is why a lot of the CRMs out there really struggle with sphere selling, because they're all focused on this little teeny slice that, the 12% of people, not the entirety of your sphere. And, what vendors will typically say is, oh yeah, just go ahead and manually add all of these people to your sphere, keep them up to date, keep them organized. And that's a ton of work. And so, obviously that is a huge problem if you have to do all of that stuff manually. And so for anyone here that's in EXP world, for those of you who don't like data entry and busy work, maybe I could see a few emojis for that. And if those of you who do love busy work, maybe just keep silent for a moment. One of the things we try and do is look at this problem a different way. And so with Cloze, one of the things you find is that there are actually electronic breadcrumbs that give you a lot of the information about these relationships. Maybe it's a mailing list for your kids' hockey team or a chamber of commerce in your community. Cloze uses the history of all of your communication all the way back in time to map out all of these relationships between all of these different people and yourself. And we keep track of all of that stuff so you don't have to. But when the time is right, we're going to start surfacing people out of all of this so that you know when to focus on when they matter to you. And so I'm going to dive in a level of detail deeper and talk about how Cloze works and what it does. So the first thing that we do in Cloze is we connect to things like your email, to your phone, Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, Slack, Evernote, all of the different services that you might use. And we collect all of that data together. And so we even hook up to things like your real mobile phone, iMessage, Google Chat, and can bring all of that into your CRM. So when you start using Cloze, just connect your accounts. Literally every conversation you've ever had with everyone that you work with, everyone in your community, shows up in Cloze automatically, as far back in time as you want. Now, it's up to you to decide what do you want to connect. Do you want to connect one email account, 10 email accounts to Cloze? Do you want to connect your mobile phone or not? Entirely up to you. But the thing about Cloze is that we are very different in the way our product works. No one, not even our staff, not EXP, not your team, can see your private content. And, as I mentioned earlier, we operate in 70 plus different countries. And so we have to obey the strictest privacy rules in the world. So as a company, one of the things we decided long ago is that we're going to use that same level of privacy for everyone, regardless of their country. So you get to take advantage of the strictest privacy rules in the world. Now, when you're operating on a team for shared leads, shared contacts with the team, you can choose to share your communication with your team members, but everything else still remains private to you. And the reason we can do all of this is Cloze itself is actually built differently than other CRMs out there. And so most CRMs, when you work in a team, everyone's data just gets pooled together in one big account, one big shared database. In the Cloze world, every account is separate. So your account's going to be separate from other people that you're on the same team with. And so they're all separate. And so what that means also is that if you decide to leave your team, you decide to leave EXP, you can just unplug your account and take it with you. Don't need to export your data. Everything you've done in your account that's yours, you get to keep with you. So there's none of this sort of manual effort or starting from scratch. Cloze accounts are portable. And this is what that ability to keep those accounts separate from all the others is part of what allows us to have the level of privacy that we have that you don't typically get in other platforms. But again, you can choose as much or as little data to give to Cloze. What accounts you want to connect, what emails, your phone. It's entirely up to you. You can even do things like tell Cloze, just don't bring in information from my family and friends, for example. But when you do connect your accounts to Cloze, this is where the really interesting stuff starts to happen. We use this information, not people, but our AI assistants actually use this information to start giving you suggestions and helping you in your day-to-day things that you're doing. And so I'm going to walk through a few examples of that for you here. And so, for example, like if you received a note from a client that said, blah, 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 give me a call Saturday morning, our AI is going to pick up the fact that you were asked to do something on Saturday morning. It's going to automatically add this to your agenda for you. So getting you out of the business of making sure that you're remembering all of these things you need to do. Similarly, we use AI that can understand things like email signatures. And so if there's new contact information that shows up, Cloze is just going to automatically update your contacts for you, get you out of the business of doing all the manual database updates that you might be familiar with other tools out there. And so using all that information, all that history that we have on people that you may have talked with in the past or that are in your network, Cloze is also going to start suggesting people to reach out to. And so you'll see that in a keep in touch section in Cloze. And we're actually going to go in and I'll show you a live demo of all this in a moment, but I wanted to give you a preview for some of the kinds of things you can do in Cloze. You can even track your goals in Cloze. And so think of this more like, less like a lot of the manual goal tracking and more like using Apple Fitness. It just automatically figures out what your history is, what you've done in the past, and sets those goals for you and keeps you on pace for the way you've operated and the way you've worked before. So it's all automatic, no manual data entry, even for goal tracking. So it makes it really easy to manage and track your goals. And so lastly, Cloze is going to remind you of things like purchase anniversaries, when you need to do real estate reviews, or if you have birthday information. Cloze is going to just automatically remind you about those so you can reach out to your clients on these. And so for the EXP CRM of your choice of CRM program, you're going to have access to 3 different parts of Cloze. You're going to have access to the Cloze CRM. You're going to have access to our marketing package. So that's all of our multi-channel marketing and our Canva enterprise integration. And I'll show you a bunch of these in a moment, as well as our full lead management system. And so if you went to our website and look at Cloze Business Platinum, you'll see a lot of these features laid out and what's there. But with that, I'm actually going to step in and we're going to go and show you a live demo of Cloze now. So let me switch over to my Cloze account. And if the StreamYard gods are with us, you should actually see a web browser up here. One thing I want to step back and say is we actually started as a mobile app company. And so every single thing that you can do on a desktop, what you're seeing here, you can do on your mobile phone as well with our mobile apps. And so 100% of the capabilities are available on the mobile app. Similar designs, you can use it, but it's first-class mobile app, 4.6 stars in the App Store, over 2,500 reviews. And so a lot of people just use our mobile app as their primary way to work with Cloze. But I'm going to show you here a little bit about Cloze, and we'll look at this on the desktop. All right. And so what I am looking at here, this is the agenda section of Cloze. And so the agenda is where, all of that information I talked about that we use, we bring all of that information together and start putting our AI suggestions about the things that you should get done. So your new leads will be on your agenda. People that you should reach out to are on your agenda. Important things like birthdays and real estate reviews and other deadlines are there. Even your calendar shows up on your agenda. So things that you need to get done, meetings that you should reconfirm and showings, and important things like important messages. And I'll go through all of these in a moment. But one of the things about the agenda is it's not just a laundry list of work, things that you need to do all yourself. Everything on the agenda has help built into it. And so if I tap on the little red arrow here, what you'll see, and this was a birthday reminder, Cloze is going to pop up. I wanted to wish you a happy birthday. I hope all's well. And you can put in a personal note like, how are the kids? And when I send this, it's going to go out of my real email account. So if I were a Gmail user, it's going to go right out of my Gmail. It'll show up in my sent items. So it's a first-class, real, 100% normal email if I send this out from here. But if I look at another one, for example, I tap on a purchase anniversary. Again, I'm going to see some different things. Can you believe it's been a year? I hope you're never loving your new home. And so you could, again, put in more personal notes and just send that out to your client. Now, on this type of thing, one of the things we see a lot of people do is, if you're sending out a note like this, maybe you write a little to-do for yourself of make sure to get back to them if they don't reply to me. Well, Cloze can take care of that for you. So if I just tap on the little bookmark here, I can say, if no one replies by next week, automatically bring this back onto my agenda. And so I can get, without having to do anything else, if they reply to me, that's great. I'll get that in my inbox. If they don't reply, it's going to pop right back onto my agenda, so I'll know to take care of it. And so Cloze is going to help all of those follow-ups for you as well, not just the initial reach out to clients. And so let me go in and I'm going to look at a few more things here. We're going to look at, and so basically everything on the agenda is tap to send, tap to make a text, tap to make a phone call. So you can get through your agenda really fast by just using all the help that we have built into it. Now, I'm just going to give you a preview of some of the kinds of things on your agenda here. So even like if you have upcoming showings, the last thing you want to do is show up at the location and your clients know where to be found. So Cloze is going to remind you to reconfirm things like showings. And again, I just tap on that. Wanted to confirm our showing today at 2 p.m. Looking forward to seeing you there, and I can send that out. By the way, you can automate all of the different things you've seen here, but a lot of people we work with like to do that personal touch, and so you get the template up with just some of the basics, and you can put in a personal note to your client along with it. Other examples here, Cloze has flagged something as an important message. So I'm going to tap on that and take a look. And so here we have a message that says something. Here we go. Please send me anything that fits the bill this evening. And so our AI picked up that there was an action item that it's due this evening, and we automatically added this to our agenda as due at 6 p.m. And so even if you had just read the first sentence or didn't get to your email, Cloze is there to actually help you and find these kind of things for you to make sure you're never missing what's going on with that. And so you'll see all of these kinds of things on the agenda. Your leads are here, people to reach out to, important dates. All of this is here ready for you whenever you need to get it. And so most people that use Cloze, they just go through their agenda. This is sort of the day-to-day. Just go through and handle all the items on your agenda. And this will drive all the things that you really need to get done. And so I'm going to take a look here at some of the examples. Let me go into one of my people to reach out to, Gina Harris here. So Cloze is recommending we reach out to Gina Harris. And so I'm tapping on Gina here, and I'll show you in a bit. We'll go into the people view and you can see more details there. But when I go to Gina's profile in the timeline, what I see is all of my past communication with Gina. So every text message we've had, every phone call, every email we've exchanged. And again, this isn't manually entered. I just did these on iMessage in my mobile phone and they show up here. Don't need to use a special phone number. It's all with your real phone number, your real phone. All of that information can show together. So you get a full history of every conversation you've ever had, in this case with Gina, as far back in time as you've ever talked to this client. And so for Gina, I first started talking with her in December 2018. And so I have my history all the way back then. But for anyone you've talked with longer, you'll see the history as far back in time as you've had conversations with people. And so you see the full detail of the emails you shared and things like that, and your text messages all here on this. Now, if you have any notes, you've got things like Evernote. All of your notes will actually show up in Cloze here as well, even all of your files. And so if you just use things like Google Drive, all of the files related to your client are going to automatically show up here. So you'll see a full view of every file you've exchanged with Gina. Every file that even references and refers to Gina will show up here. So again, you didn't need to manually add these to Cloze. This is all automatic. It's looking at your Google Drive and finding all the files that are related to Gina and bringing those in here. You also see one from DocuSign here. We integrate with lots of different services, and we'll see all of those different ones. And so we can send this person to client. So there's a lot of different pieces. All of this information will show up together. So you can see your full history, all of your communication in the past, all of your notes, all of your files, all of your to-dos are here. And so Cloze is bringing all of that information into one place for you. Again, fully automatically, no manual data entry, as far back in time as you want. And so all of this back history is also part of what Cloze is using to do these suggestions on the agenda, who to reach out to, when to reach out. So for those of you who use .loop or SkySlope, for example, Cloze is going to integrate with those as well, and will bring in all of your past purchases and sales and automatically set up things like the follow-up dates for the client. So when was their purchase anniversaries, their sale anniversaries, all that will automatically be brought in from SkySlope and .loop, so you don't need to manually keep this information up to date. We'll also sync your contacts back and forth with SkySlope and .loop, so you don't need to double enter data. So when you have a client and you start a transaction with them, that information will flow directly over to whatever you're using for your transaction manager. And so Cloze is going to take care of all of that, automated, all of that data entry for you, so you don't have to do all of the manual effort that you might otherwise. Now I can organize my clients here. So I've got Gina tagged as a hot buyer here, and then I'll have other information I can enter. I can look at, create a buyer match and other things for Gina. And we'll look at some of these things in a moment here. But this is sort of the core of all of the information. You can bring other information you want into Cloze. It's all customizable. If you have other things that you want to add about clients, or your team has certain ways that you work with clients, you can bring all that information into Cloze. And I also have, Gina organized in a few different categories here in my holiday card list and things like that. So let me go over, and I'm going to start straying a little bit into some of the marketing sides of things, but let me go to my people tab. And this is where I have all of the clients that I've worked with in the past, everyone in my database. Cloze also keeps a separate database for all the people it's discovered, but I could look up people on my holiday card list. And so here I have a whole bunch of people on my holiday card list. I can select all of those, and maybe I want to send them a note, say, happy 4th of July, which is coming up in not too long here. So I'm going to go and reach out to them. We'll do a mail merge to them, say happy 4th. And notice it's actually rotating the name here. What this means, it's going to send out a separate email to each one of these different people. And but I want to do something further here. Let me go and say I want to add people's spouses to the to line of my emails, so that when I'm saying to David and Jennifer, Elizabeth and Philip, it's going to automatically take care of grouping the spouses together for me. And so you'll see a few of those rotate through here, and I could put in a personal note to these folks. And when I send this out, it's going to go out to all of those folks, and there's analytics on all of this, open rates, click rates, even things like reply rates. So you can see who's replied to mass mails that you sent out to folks. You'll get all of that data available in Cloze. But this is just a simple example of that. I'm going to stray over in a moment here and talk a little bit about sort of organizing. Let me just show one other little piece about organizing contacts. We find a lot of people spend a lot of effort trying to tag, like, here's people I met in the last year or things like that. Well, Cloze can do all of this kind of organization for you. So you can say things by sort by people that I just met. So if you want to reach out to people you just met this week, they're at the top of the list and you can click on them and reach out to them. Or maybe you want to do the reverse and you want to sort by people that I haven't talked to in a long time. Bring those people to the top of the list. You can do things like who has upcoming birthdays, who has items due next. And so, or even, who has wedding anniversaries or purchase anniversaries that are upcoming. And so all of this is really designed around just making a lot of the things that you do day to day easier. Our default way we organize clients, though, is what we call best relationship. This is an AI way of organizing people. So instead of the typical alphabetical list of everyone you've ever met, Cloze uses our AI to figure out who are the people that you work with most and are working with most right now, and they'll be right at the top of your list. So when you go to the people tab in Cloze, the people you probably want to be reaching out to will be right at the top. All right. So I'm going to take a little pause from the Cloze side here, and I'm going to actually start showing some of the marketing integrations on Cloze here for a moment. So when you go into your property section in Cloze, all of your EXP listings are going to automatically be here when you get started. And so all of them will show up immediately in here. I have a lot of listings in my account here, but I'm going to go to one of those listings. And so this particular home, nice home, nice interior, great lots of glass, great place. I wouldn't mind having a home like that. It's a little bit out of my price range though. But let's say this is a new listing for us and we want to market it. And so I'm going to show you our Canva Enterprise integration here. And so if I tap on little gears, I can do things like send it to HomeSpotter, Boost, Cloud CMA. I just have a few services connected. But in this particular case, I'm going to send it to Canva. And so for those of you who have been using Canva and the EXP app for Canva, you've seen that you need to sort of manually enter all the data in each listings. With Cloze, we can automatically create an entire package of marketing for you for your listing. And so we're working with the EXP marketing team to make even more information available here and more templates available that you can do this with. But I have a package of EXP templates, and I'm going to go say, let's create and customize all of these templates so that they work for my particular listing here. And so I hit create. And so what Cloze is going off and doing is it's filling in the data about my particular listing into all of those different templates. And so it created Canva templates for my particular listing here. And let's go take a look at some of those. And so let's go into this listing flyer, for example. You'll see it has all of those photos. It has the price. It has the description, all the features of my listing. It even has a working QR code, by the way. And so all of my photos, all of the information about this is a demo account. That's not really me, but that's the demo person for this particular account, Alex Estate. So it's filled in everything related to your listing here. Now you can go in and customize this because this is just full Canva. So you can edit whatever you want here. You can use the EXP app. We even have a Cloze app here as well, but it's connected right now. So I'll move off of that one. And so the Cloze app is like the EXP app, but you can even do things like email your Canva materials from Cloze. And I'll show you a little bit of that later. And so here we have an example of a flyer, but we're even able to automatically create things like videos. And so let's take a look at this particular one. I think this is a Facebook video. And so here, when we play this video, what you're going to see is it's created a whole Facebook video with imagery and information from our listing all together. And so we have, so we've created a whole video here automatically for your listings. And so you can do this with any one of your listings, create all of these material at once, and then customize them. So it becomes very easy to take advantage of the Canva Enterprise, subscription that you all have access to. And so when I go back now into my Cloze account, and I'm going to go to the marketing section of Cloze, our marketing library, you'll see there's a Canva section in my marketing library. And so all of those Canva materials are available to me here. So I can go to my West Hill Bear Island. I could take any one of these, and I can actually include these in an email, for example, as well. And so send them to my clients. So you can get not only you can use Canva to send via social, create single property websites, but you can use Cloze then to email assets out to your clients as well, or to your list of people that you're going to market a new listing to. All right, so that's a little bit about our Canva Enterprise integration, just making it really easy to be able to create full sets of marketing materials around your listing. So I'm going to go over though, and let's go create some additional marketing materials here. One of the things about marketing is you can never get enough of it, right? You have so many different reasons that you need to reach out to clients, and building all that material yourself can be really hard. And so I'm going to show you a few different things in our marketing package here that we'll dive in and look at some details on. And so one of the things in Cloze is we can automatically create marketing materials for you just with a simple prompt. And so I'm going to do that, what we call our ghostwriter in Cloze. I'm going to ask it to create a whole drip campaign for me. And so let's go in and create a drip campaign. And so here you can enter any prompt you want really, but you can also pre-build ones that are more common questions you have for clients. And so I'm going to use one that's already here, educate home sellers on how to increase the value of your home. And what this is going to do is create a 4-step drip campaign using information that you'll see in a moment here. So the first step is Cloze outlines, here's the 4 drips that we're going to use. So one on curb appeal, one on renovations, one on staging, and one on understanding market trends. So let's have Cloze go off and create those 4 drips for us. And so it's just going out and creating a bunch of materials for these. So, all right, so we've got our 4 different drips of our drip campaign, and let's go take a look at that. And so when you create a drip campaign from Cloze, it's not just a bunch of ChatGPT text. What you're actually getting is full newsletters of content and I'll look at one of these in a moment here, but you're getting a full set of newsletters with content and details here. So it's even including articles from other websites. So you're giving people not just a newsletter with just a bunch of text, you're giving them places they can go and other things they can learn from. So it's a nice authoritative way to be able to create nice content. You've got imagery associated with it. So there's a lot of great stuff in here, just easy ways to create content. And so I created a drip campaign here. But maybe you're a wine connoisseur, or you like food and you want to talk about things that are going on with trends of fashion or food or wine or whatnot. Since you can see from my name, Foodie, I'm actually a food person, but I'll create a different one, for example. Let's just create an example newsletter. You can do literally any topic. So I've got one here, creating a newsletter about surviving the zombie apocalypse. And so this can go and create a newsletter on tips and tricks for surviving the zombie apocalypse. And it's got, again, articles and other things about zombie apocalypse in this case. I just use that as an example. So you can even do, what's happening in Boston for the 4th of July and have it create a full newsletter of events that are going on in your community related to, the upcoming holiday. And so it's a great way to create lots of content very quickly. Everything you do in there can be fully edited as well. So it's not just static content here. So if I went into one of these newsletters, I can choose up different imagery. So I can pick something about, this one is about curb appeal. Let's talk about home front, and we'll just get it to look at, look at other ones here. So we'll get pictures of homes showing up. Here we go. Well, they don't have much in their library. Let's just look for homes. So we can do, pictures of homes and cats. My video is a little laggy here, so you were seeing some things. So I can switch this up and change all the text. So it's all fully editable, drag and drop editor for information here. And I'll show you some examples of that in a moment here. But there's one other piece that I want to show around drip campaigns. So I'm actually Canadian. I grew up in Montreal. And so, when I go back home, people speak both French and English. And so from a marketing standpoint, whether you are Canadian or you work in a market where you sell to Spanish speakers, for example, being able to market to people in different languages is one of the things that is really hard with a lot of tools. But let me show you how you can do that with Cloze. And so I'm going to look at an example newsletter here. Let me look at one of my recent ones. So I have a newsletter here that's Spring into Summer, 7 Natural Wonders of Massachusetts, how to improve your home, some history of our brokerage. And so let me go and edit that. Now, when you think about marketing to people in other languages, a lot of this needs to be translated. And so let's go ahead and translate this whole newsletter. So I'm going to do French Canadian for me, but maybe it's, you want to translate it into Spanish for your local market. And what you're seeing here is that Cloze has automatically translated all of this information into French in this particular case. But what's really interesting here is this isn't just now a French newsletter. This is an English and a French newsletter. And so you'll even see things like the text on top of the images has been changed. So I have both English and French in this one newsletter. I could have other languages. I can have Spanish as well in my same newsletter. And when I go and save this and send it to clients, one of the things Cloze does, and you won't notice it initially, but Cloze automatically figures out the language of every single one of your clients. So when I send this newsletter out to 100 clients, if 50 of them speak French and 50 speak English, it's going to send the French version to the French speakers and the English version to the English speakers automatically. So it's taking care of putting content in the hands of your clients in whatever language they work in. And so that's one of the nice things on Cloze is if you do mind, not all of you certainly do multilingual stuff, but for those of you that do, it creates an easy way to be able to manage your content in multiple languages. You can also then edit all of the pieces and so on from there. And, the other thing that you see here, and I'll just give you a quick view into creating a newsletter, when you get demos from vendors, oftentimes you see these pre-built newsletters. They all look beautiful and they say, isn't this wonderful? And they never show you how the spaghetti's made, how do you actually go, how the sausage is made, and how do you actually create things. So I'm going to show creating a newsletter for you from scratch here. And so one of the things about Cloze is you can actually create what we call building blocks to be able to assemble content much more easily. So all those things that you saw, from the vault, the history of Wellesley Realty, I could put in a block here about how do we make your home stand out. Let's put an offer information in here. Maybe you will take a piece of content from Canva as well. So I can go and look at my Canva designs and pull something in here as well about our Bear Island. We'll pull something in there. And so I can mix and match content and build all these little building blocks and really assemble those in lots of different ways. So it's a much easier way to create content instead of having to create every single piece of content separately. In Cloze, you can build these building blocks. You can use your Canva designs and just drag and drop entire complete content together to create a whole newsletter really quickly and easily. All right. And so with that, I'm going to go and answer some of the questions that I know we've had from folks. There's a lot more in Cloze here, and we could dive, I could dive just for an hour talking about how goal tracking works, or dive into analytics and look at all the details of pipeline conversion and all of the different things there. But we're going to pause here, and I'm going to go answer some of the questions that I know we've had from folks as people have reached out to us. One of the big areas people have asked about is teams. And so I want to talk a little bit about Cloze's team capabilities here. And so give you just a little sneak peek into the kinds of things that you can do when working as a team with Cloze. And so, the first piece of all of this is that when you work together as a team and you look at, remember I talked about that timeline of communication? You'll have a shared timeline for the leads that the team is working on together. You can create a shared timeline where you see all the communication of everyone on your team with that client. So you see one unified view of all the communication that's going on with that particular client. You're going to get summaries of it automatically built for you. But this isn't where all of your team have to even work inside Cloze. If people on your team are just working off their phone, they're sending iMessages to the client, they're using Google to send emails, all of that shows up here. So you have this one view, all of the communication with your client, all in one place automatically for you. And again, from a privacy standpoint, this is just around the shared leads. All of your own private leads, all of your own private content and communication, that isn't shared. And you can pick and choose what does get shared and what doesn't get shared, all the way down to an individual email thread. So you can say this email thread needs to be private for my team. You can mark that as such. Or you can just say, like, everything on my phone is private. I don't want any of my phone stuff coming in automatically. You can do that as well. So there's a lot of privacy protections. But the great thing when you work as a team is that even if you're not in the CRM, you're just using your phone, you're just using your email, all of that comes together, so you get this one view of everything happening around the client in one place. If you're working together, like, and you're doing a lot of dialing for calling, so in Cloze, you can create a shared call list, and you'll see indicators at the side for when people on your team are actually reaching out to the different folks that you're talking with. So no one's stepping on each other's toes. So you'll always know who's actually talking with a particular person on that call list at any one time. We manage things like shifts so that if you have auto responses, if no one's on duty, you can have an automatic drip campaign that takes over, or you can factor this into things like lead routing so that when only people are on duty, get leads at that particular time. And so it takes all of that kind of information into account. There's a full set of ability to track activity, who's doing what, all the way down to phone calls, emails, text messages. And again, even for the activity that's happening on your agent's phones, on their regular email, we're going to bring all that together to show you a complete dashboard of here's everything going on with my team's leads at any one time. From a lead routing perspective with Cloze, there's a lot of different capabilities here: round robin workload, jump ball, lead ponds, that you can combine with a lot of other criteria, zip codes, what do people specialize in, what are the lead sources, all of this. You get a huge amount of flexibility in how do you want to route leads with Cloze, and what do you want to do after you've assigned a lead, maybe to a particular person on your team. You can do things like clawback leads if people aren't following up and things along those lines, or just trigger automated nurturing that would happen while you're waiting for people to get to your client. So there's a lot of different capabilities around lead routing, and we support hundreds of different lead sources. But if you have a custom thing that comes in, it's actually just drag and drop to be able to create, bring in new data from new lead sources with Cloze. Super easy to deal with. Our team will work with you to create any of these that you need as well. So with that, I wanted to step back and talk about all the things that are included in the eXp CRM of choice offering for Cloze. So this is our Cloze Business Platinum, our complete set of things that you've seen so far. If you go to our website, you'll learn more about it. Our team support is included at no additional cost. Our lead management is included at no additional cost. You'll see our multilingual marketing, again, included at no additional cost. As someone who speaks multiple languages, I don't think people should be charged for having to speak in another language. Our Canva Enterprise integration, that's included at no additional charge for everyone. And hundreds of other integrations that we have are included as well. Again, no additional charge for any of these. So from the eXp world, you have lots of different things that are part of your typical, what eXp delivers to you. So the Canva side, that's all integrated with SkySlope, deep integration there that can automatically sync your contacts, syncs with your transactions, your listings automatically with SkySlope. You have a deep Slack integration, .loop if you use that. If you use eXp Access with Zenlist, that's integrated to Cloze as well. And the national do not call list, the eXp do not call list, those are integrated directly into Cloze as well. And then if you use other integrations that aren't part of this set that eXp offer, we do those as well. So I will step back and say, as you probably saw from the FAQs, we are not a website vendor. So Cloze doesn't offer a website. You can hook Cloze up to any website that you might have, and we can take the leads from that, manage the leads, route them, etc. But we're not a website vendor. A lot of sphere sellers don't even have websites necessarily. But if you do, you can connect it to Cloze directly. And so how do you get started with Cloze? So after we get through a little bit of this, I'm actually going to open up for questions, and we'll start taking questions from folks here. But first thing, if you want to get started with Cloze, by the way, you can ask your questions in eXp World. You can ask questions on YouTube, and we have folks there who are answering some of the questions already, hopefully for you. But otherwise, if you want to get started with Cloze, go to exptoolkit.com/CRM of choice. You hit join the priority list that you'll see there, and then you can pick Cloze as your CRM from there. All right, at this point, I'm going to open up for some questions. Hopefully our team haven't answered everything for folks. And if not, we can actually go in and dive a little deeper on things, see some of the pieces of Cloze about how do you set it up? How do you get it working for you? We've got about 15 minutes left here. And so we'll use this to handle questions and just, go in and out and take a look at different things. All right. I know my team are messaging me here. And so there's a question about our Slack integration. And so one of the things in Cloze with our Slack integration, it can hook to all of your channels. It hooks to all of your channels. And also when you go to a client, it will actually bring up all the communication related to that client. So if you're messaging with people on your team about a client and it's like referencing the client's name, that's actually going to show up in the Cloze timeline. So if I go back to a Cloze timeline where I was here go back to Gina Harris, for example, you'll see all of the Slack communication in the timeline here related to Gina Harris. So even if it's just messaging between people on your team related to the client, all of that's going to show up here. Think of it a little bit like the text message side. There's actually a question here about things like sending text messages or videos. And so I'll give you an example of some of those here. So with Cloze, if you're, especially if you're on the mobile version, you can actually just dial directly from here with Cloze. If you're on a desktop, it's going to send out through things like iMessage and things like that. But Cloze is integrated with services like BombBomb here. And so if I were, let's do an email for a BombBomb. And so I'm going to go email Gina Harris. And so if I go to the little, if I go to the little icon here to add things in. So I'm going to see I can add into my email BombBomb videos, lots of other assets here. But if I add a BombBomb video, it's going to bring up all of the BombBomb videos I've already done. And I can pick one of those, add those in, and it's going to add that video into my email with a little animated GIF. And when you tap on it, it'll play the video. So I can do that just in anywhere that I'm sending email, or I can put that in templates if you have real ones as well. And so you can send really any kind of content out through Cloze in here. One of the other pieces I'll touch on, I'm looking at questions that I'm getting in on the side here. So I'm going to go back and forth on a few different things for folks. So there's a question about what we call keep in touch reminders. And so you saw a few of these on the agenda, people to keep in touch with. And so keep in touch reminders, some of these are just fully automated. Our AI is going to look at your past history of people that you talked with, and it's going to recommend when you reach out. So when you get into Cloze first time, without ever setting anything up, you'll start to see keep in touch reminders showing up in Cloze. Birthday reminders, you're going to have to bring in birthday data, but if you connect SkySlope, and so if I go into I'll show you connecting things like SkySlope in a moment here. But if I want to get my purchase anniversary reminders, I can connect .loop or SkySlope, and it's going to bring all my past purchase history into there and automatically bring those onto the agenda as well. So I'm just going to go quickly into settings here, and I'm going to go more settings. And I'm going to show you here under connected accounts. This is where you can connect other services to Cloze. So I have a few different services, like all the way from DocuSign and Dotloop and HomeSpotter and MailChimp and other things connected here, SkySlope. But if you go to add, you'll see all of the different options you have available, from Canva to things like Cloud CMA, for example. All of these options are here. There was a question about CMAs, and so we can integrate with your CMA tools of choice, whether it's Moxie Present, Cloud CMA. What happens is that if you go to a contact or you go to a listing, you can actually then have that information automatically go over to the CMA tool from there. And so Cloze is going to send all the information you need over to the CMA, so you don't have to re-enter information in that other tool as well. So from a reporting standpoint, there was a question on this. So let me go in and just dive in a little bit of analytics side here. So I'm looking at my own personal time spent activity, well, the demo account's time spent. And so Cloze, again, because it's hooked to your phone and it's hooked to your email, it's automatically going to look at where are you spending your time. And so if I have this particular case, we're spending a lot more time with sellers than we are with people in our network and our partners and friends and renters. And so it's giving us a view of where are we spending our time over time. And it's going to give us a lot of details on that. And so it's a great way to actually understand, just most people don't think about, like, are you spending your time with buyers or sellers or people who are early in your sales funnel or late in your sales funnel? All of that analytics will be here at your fingertips to really understand what's going on. Again, it's all automatic because we're hooked to your email and phone. You don't need to enter any data for this. Similarly, even for things like our goal dashboard, you're going to see all of your goal achievement over time. And all of the goals that we've set for you are here as well, and details of those. So you can go all the way down to having goals on GCI and sides and things like that. And so, there's a lot of depth in the analytics. I'm not going to go into too much in here, but you have things like your pipeline, you have reporting on your automated campaigns, your emails, your audiences that you're dealing with, all of the mails you've sent out. So even for things like email in this particular demo account, like it sent out a Happy New Year, you're going to see all the people that it was sent to, who opened it, who clicked. You're going to even see the reply rate, what percentage of people replied to things. So because we're hooked to your email, we even know things like reply rates on that. And that's the gold standard of email marketing, is do people actually engage with you and get back to you? So Cloze is going to track all of that for you as well. And so let's see. So a lot of depth here. I'm not going to go into a lot more details around that side of things. But there's a lot of information. By the way, if you go to help.cloze.com, you can find out. That's our full help center that will link to links to things like our videos and webinars and training and a lot of information there that's available for you. All right, and with that, I will ask my team whether there's any other questions that we have, and if not, we might give you all a few extra minutes back in your day. All right, so question, so Cloze be able to display usage and their communication of saved buyer searches on a website. So with the website integrations we have, yes, all of the things that are happening on the website will also feed into the client's timeline here. And so this isn't just your communication, but it's all of the other things, activity that's happening outside Cloze. So if you're using one of our website integrations, yes, all of that information is going to show up here. And so you'll see the full view of all of the activity that's happening with your clients. Your faves and saves and things like that will show up in here as well from your website. Again, whatever website vendors you're working with. And so, a number of other questions around websites. If you, again, we don't offer a website. So if you have a website of your own, you can connect that to Cloze. If you just want things directed to the EXP, your pages on EXP, we can do that as well. And so there's a lot of different ways that you can use Cloze with or without a website. But any website you have, any of the leads can feed into Cloze, and we'll manage those leads. We'll do lead routing and distribution on those and give you all the feedback around those. All right. Let's see if we've got any. We've got another questions coming in here. We'll see what we get here. Someone's typing. Oh. So again, if you are interested in signing up for Cloze, again, go to the EXP Toolkit CRM of choice, click on Join Your Priority List, and then pick Cloze as your CRM. And what's going to happen then is you're going to receive an email with more details about how to get into Cloze and how to use it. If you're interested in starting early, or you just want to understand more about Cloze, you can also, again, go to help.cloze.com to do that, or start a trial on cloze.com and just see what's happening. You'll be able to use that together. And so there was a question about transitioning from KV Core or other platforms. We have a lot of customers who have transitioned from KV Core. And so you can get out your contacts, your data. We're able to bring all that information in with a single click into Cloze. It's really easy, where our team can help you bring that in. A lot of folks, when they transition systems, they also use that as an opportunity to clean up the garbage that's accumulated in the old system. So depending on what you want to do, our team can help work with you to get that information into Cloze and get you started there. But even if you are continuing to use KV Core for your website, for example, Cloze can integrate there, take the leads from it, bring all your contacts across, and you can use it in parallel. And so from a transition standpoint, it'll be pretty easy to get you from KV Core over to Cloze. We do that all the time with lots of other customers. All right, and with that, let's see, I think we may be out of questions here. So thank you, everyone, for all of your time. I appreciate your sticking with me here and getting the dive into Cloze. One of the things we will be doing is, well, this was really just a quick overview of Cloze. The same sessions at the same time starting next week. We're actually going to go more in depth in training and how to use Cloze starting then. So, this week, today and Wednesday, we're really just giving an overview, but starting next week, we're actually going to use these same sessions to give you more details on how do you set up Cloze, how do you use it, and so on. And it sounds like there's some late breaking questions coming across now. So I'm going to wait to see what those are here. Sorry for all the ums and ahs and pauses, everyone here. So question is, if I text someone from a Google Voice number and personal cell, do they both merge? Yes. So you'll get one view for all of that. If your Google Voice is connected to an Android phone, for example, you'll get that. But we do a lot of things to try and merge emails and phone calls and contacts. So when you if you connect, and I'll go back to contacts for a second here. If you connect multiple email accounts to Cloze, let's say you connect 5 email accounts to Cloze, one of the things that happens to most people is you then, with a lot of tools, you end up with 5 copies of every contact. With Cloze, this is another area where we use AI. When you connect 3, 4, 5 email accounts, we're going to automatically and smartly merge those contacts together. So you have one view of all the people you know, not all of those different contacts in different places. And no, we do not charge for more connections to more email accounts. Connect as many as you want, and Cloze will handle that just fine. Similarly, connect your phone. There's no charge for any of those capabilities. But when you connect multiple accounts, and this is really common for people who do sphere selling, right? You've got your EXP account, you may have your personal brand account, but your sphere also lives in your real personal Gmail account. So a lot of people will connect all of those to Cloze. And we're going to automatically merge all the contacts, merge all the information across those. So you have one unified view of your entire sphere in one place. And that's one of the really nice things, is all of the automatic things, all of the automatic merging Cloze does, all of the automatic bringing things together, just makes it easy. You don't have to manage and juggle all these different accounts, juggle your phone separate from your email. It's all in one place together. And so again, if you look at what is included with Cloze, team support, leads, multilingual marketing, Cloze Enterprise, our Canva Enterprise integration, all of our integrations. There are no limits to any of those. Again, if you connect 5 email accounts, 10 email accounts, I think we actually had one person connect 35 different email accounts to Cloze. Not to say that you guys have 35 email accounts, but apparently some people out there do. But it's just part of the functionality we offer in Cloze to bring together all of the different ways you communicate with clients in one place. When you're working as a team, each of your team members are going to connect their accounts to their email accounts and their phone to their Cloze account. And then for the information that is relevant to the team, we're going to automatically bring that together in one place for you. So you don't connect every team member into one place. You actually keep everyone separate, and then Cloze manages the privacy across all of those for you. All right, and with that, I think we will call it. So thank you very much. I appreciate everyone's time, and look forward to having you give Cloze a try.